It's the kind of story Hollywood PR teams swore would never see daylight. A secret hotel clash buried under 2 decades of silence, whispered only in locked studios, smoke-filled backrooms, and late-night phone calls where legends swore they'd take it to the grave. But tonight, the grave is open, because Cassidy has shattered the code, broken the pact, and blown the hinges off a secret so explosive it has the entire hip-hop world trembling. For 20 years, fans heard rumors, grainy whispers of a mysterious hallway, a slammed hotel door, shouts echoing down a carpeted corridor, and terror squad shadows moving like ghosts. But what nobody knew, what nobody could know, is that the truth was darker, louder, and so violently chaotic that even the security footage was allegedly destroyed within hours. Phones were confiscated, witnesses were threatened, careers were put on ice, and everyone involved agreed. This never happened, until now, because Cassidy just dropped the kind of bomb that freezes time, a confession so raw and unfiltered that rappers, bloggers, and even retired managers are waking up in cold sweats. He's naming names, he's exposing moments that were buried behind platinum plaques and radio hits, and he's revealing a confrontation between Fat Joe and Papoose that was never supposed to survive the night. The hotel was real, the fight was real. And Cassidy, he says, the truth was so wild, even he barely believes he lived through it, and that's only the beginning. The truth didn't just leak, it erupted the moment Cassidy opened his mouth. Because what happened in that hotel wasn't some petty rap misunderstanding, it was a chain reaction of betrayal, jealousy, and long-buried rage that had been simmering for years under the surface of the industry. Cassidy says it began with a single, unexpected phone call, the kind you get when fate is trying to warn you that chaos is coming but you're too lit, too focused, too caught up in the moment, to notice the storm forming behind you. He remembers the room perfectly, smoke curling toward the ceiling, cards slapped on the table, stacks of cash and jewelry scattered like props in a music video, laughter drowning out the tension creeping toward him like a shadow on the floor. Then the knock came. Not a polite tap, a bang, heavy, urgent, the kind of knock that makes everyone stop talking mid-sentence because the energy in the room bends. Cassidy's guy checked the peephole, and that's when the first shockwave hit. Papoose standing outside with 5 deep, a silent army behind him. Cassidy waved them in with the casual confidence of a man who had no clue a collision was minutes away. Music blasting, tapes playing, Papoose pacing the room like he was somewhere between impressed and distracted, like he was waiting for something none of them could see. Then, the second knock. And this one didn't sound like a request. It sounded like a warning. Cassidy's man froze the moment he looked through the peephole, then turned slowly, like he didn't trust his own eyes. His voice cracked. "Bro, it's Fat Joe." The room went dead silent. Cassidy's brain didn't even have time to catch up. 1 second, he's chilling with Papoose and his squad. The next, Terror Squad energy is at the door, heavy and unavoidable. But he waved Joe in anyway because why wouldn't he? At that time, Fat Joe was family, a co-signing force who had pulled him out of clubs, thrown him alley-oops, put him on tracks, showed nothing but love. Cassidy didn't know about backstories. He didn't know about Remy drama. He didn't know about brewing storm clouds. He thought this was just another night. Fat Joe walked in like a man who already knew the whole story. But he didn't smile. He didn't dap nobody. He didn't look around. He walked straight into the center of the room like he owned the air. Everyone was breathing and dropped the first bomb. "Do we got a problem here?" A cold sentence, a knife disguised as a question. Cassidy thought it was a joke, but the second time Joe said it, he didn't look at Cassidy, not even a glance. His eyes were locked on Papoose, like he was staring at a man who had crossed a line no one else in the room knew existed. The tension sucked the oxygen out of the place. Cassidy stood up slow, confused, ready if he had to be, but still unsure if this was about to be a laugh or a war. Then Joe stepped forward, big, unblinking, deadly serious, and said it a third time. Double quotes. "Do we got a problem?" For a split second, time froze. Papoose stiffened. His crew braced. Cassidy's guys exchanged looks that said everything without saying a word. In that moment, they realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a collision of 2 worlds, 2 loyalties, 2 histories that had been boiling under the surface long before Cassidy walked into that hotel. And that's when Cassidy's people reacted, not with fists, but with survival instincts. They grabbed every stack of cash off the table, swept the jewelry into bags, and yanked Cassidy toward the connected room. Not out of fear, out of the realization that whatever was about to happen had nothing to do with Cassidy and could get catastrophic in seconds. He left the room just as the energy shifted from red alert to explosive. The moment the door closed behind him, the chaos ripped open. A roar of voices, a slam against the wall, shoes scuffling on carpet, a heavy thud like somebody got driven into furniture. Cassidy's heart pounded through the thin hotel door, while his crew tried to hold it shut, as if the fight itself might try to burst into the room. He heard someone yell Fat Joe's name, then he heard another voice, high, sharp, furious, that had to be one of Papoose's guys. The entire hallway vibrated with the sound of bodies clashing in a tangle of loyalty and rage. But the weirdest part, Fat Joe wasn't deep. Papoose had more men with him. Cassidy didn't understand why Joe walked into that room like he didn't care if he was outnumbered, and for the first time, Cassidy realized this wasn't about numbers. It was about personal history, something raw, unfiltered, and dangerous enough that even being outnumbered didn't matter. Minutes felt like hours as the scuffle spilled down the hallway. Cassidy's crew kept him back, shouting over the noise, trying to drown out the chaos outside. Then suddenly, silence, heavy, breathless, chilling. The next moment, the door to Cassidy's second room flew open and Papoose stumbled inside, chest heaving, eyes blazing. He started talking fast, furious, shaken but trying to hold pride in place. He told Cassidy what just went down, the wild accusations, the shoves, the swinging, the way Joe came in like he had a score to settle. And then he said something Cassidy would never forget. "They think you set me up." Cassidy stared at him in disbelief, because that sentence didn't just land like a slap, it landed like betrayal injected straight into his bloodstream. He had brought Papoose in, welcomed him, showed love, opened the door without hesitation, and somehow, in the middle of the chaos, the narrative twisted him into the villain. Cassidy barely had time to defend himself before another twist hit. Fat Joe returned, and the look on his face said the night wasn't over. Two men, fresh off a hallway war, were about to confront each other all over again, right outside Cassidy's room. But this time, no one knew if words, fists, or something far worse was coming next. If you think this story is wild now, you haven't seen anything yet. The chaos, the betrayals, the secret whispers that Cassidy just unleashed, they're just the tip of the iceberg. Every second you sit there, scrolling past this video, someone else is talking, someone else is sharing, and you could miss the next revelation that turns the entire hip-hop world upside down. This isn't just gossip. This is history being rewritten in real time, and you are sitting in the front row. Hit that like button right now if you want the full story, because every like is a signal that the truth matters. Comment immediately with your reactions, every theory, every jaw-drop moment, every "I can't believe this," because we're tracking every single fan meltdown and reaction, and the next wave of leaks could reference your comment. Don't just watch, be part of the story. And subscribe, hit the bell, don't even think twice. Every second you delay is another second you risk missing the next video, the next leaked recording, the next insider confession that nobody else is brave enough to drop. This isn't entertainment. This is the secret side of hip-hop that has been locked away for 20 years, and Cassidy just threw the doors open. If you blink, you'll miss it, and believe me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The fight, the drama, the chaos, it's only escalating from here. So like, comment, subscribe, and stay ready. The next revelation is coming, and it will shatter everything you thought you knew. And it will shatter everything you thought you knew.